Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have our first drive with the DS3. Now, DS is a pretty new brand. They only separated from Citroën like a couple of years ago, so you may have forgotten about this car. Now let me get you up to speed. The DS3 is the smallest car they offer. They also offer bigger cars like the DS4, the 7 and the DS9, which is like a really big sedan. And so this is their smallest car that they offer. It's on the same platform as the Peugeot 208 and the Opel Corsa, but this car is a bit more expensive because it's a little bit more classy. You get way more equipment in this car, and it also looks a little bit more fancy if you ask me. The car came to the market in 2019 and now they have given the car a facelift. In this video I will tell you everything that is new on the car. Like for example, there's a completely new electric powertrain, but you can also still get regular diesel and petrol engines as well. And I will also tell you what is new on the design of this car. So let's get started. Alright, let's kick this video off by talking about the design and what is new on the design. Now, just with like any other DS model, you get this really big grille. It has this diamond pattern here. And on this particular version, you got this blacked out grille with like a glossy black finish. And even the DS logo is blacked out. You also get the little camera here, by the way. Now, the grille is a little bit different compared to the previous model. It has a little bit more sharper edges on the side here. What is also new is this part between the grille and the headlights. You get this black panel here, but you can also get chrome here as well. You can get a chrome grille and a chrome logo as well, by the way. So this is new. On the previous version it ran all the way across the headlights. Now it's just this small part here. The headlights are new as well. You can also get matrix LED lights, but I would say the biggest change on the front end of this car is the daylight running lights. You get these really sleek daylight running lights here. You get like two beams next to each other. It looks a little bit quirky, a little bit funky, but also pretty cool if you ask me. The DS4 and the DS7, the renewed DS7, also has this form, this design for the daylight running lights. And I would say it looks also pretty classy. And that's what this car is all about, class. And like I said, this car is a little bit more expensive than its brothers, the Peugeot 208 and the Opel Corsa, but those are not the models you should compare this model to. This car rivals models like the Mini Countryman and the Audi Q2. Now, what else is new here? Now, for example, these wheels. You can get new 17 and 18-inch wheels, and there's also a couple of new colors for the car. For example, this body color. It's a little bit gray, a little bit green. It feels a little bit like a color that you can also get on Volvos. I would say it looks pretty cool, but you can also get a new red color, which is called Diva Red. And in total, there are 7 new colors. And don't forget, you can also get a different color for the roof, so you can make a lot of different combinations for this car. Now, what is still the same on the car are these door handles. You get these flash door handles. Again, an element that makes this car look very classy. Now, if I open up the car with the key, this is, by the way, the key that you get when you order a DS3. Now, let me unlock the car, and there you see the door handles pop out, and they can easily open up the door. What is also stayed here is the shark fin that you get here. Now, obviously, the outgoing model also had the shark fin because this car hasn't changed drastically compared to the outgoing model. However, the shark fin was already on the DS3 when the car was still called the Citroën DS3 back in 2009 when it first came to the market. That was a completely different car compared to this car. However, it did have the shark fin here. So what else is new? Let's discuss the back ends. Now, actually not that much here. The only thing that has changed is this strip here. Now it says DS Automobiles written out in full, and here it says DS3. And the outgoing model was actually called the DS3 Crossback because this is a little bit of a crossover. It still is, but they're not using the Crossback name anymore for this car. So from now on, it's just called the DS3. Again, in the center, you got this blacked out DS logo. And let's have a quick look at the luggage compartment. So you just press the button, then you just have to manually open the hatch. You got like 350 liters of space here, and obviously you can just press these buttons to fold down the back seats, and then you have a little over 1,000 liters. This car is actually a little bit bigger than the Peugeot 208 and the Opel Corsa, which it shares a platform with, so that's why you still get a fair amount of luggage space. Alright, let's have a look here at the back seat area. Like I just said, this is a B segment car, so it's not a really big car. However, I'm still quite comfortable here actually. I was a bit surprised by that. I'm 1.80 m, so not the tallest, but definitely not the shortest, but I'm still quite comfortable here sitting behind myself. This is the same position as how I would use the seat, and I'm still quite comfortable here because my knees aren't hitting the seat in front of me, and I can actually put my feet under the seat as well, which is always nice. But again, it isn't very spacious here, so if you're a little bit taller than I am, you're probably better off sitting in the front seat. Now you got 3 headrests here in the back, but there's definitely not enough space to fit 3 adults next to each other. Obviously, I would say in a compact hatchback. However, you can easily fit 3 kids here, especially if some of them are a bit smaller. You do get a big hump here in the center, which isn't that odd on this version. If you haven't already seen it, when I showed you the back, this car has tailpipes. This car is a petrol version, but you can also get an electric version. I drove that car earlier today, but that car is basically the same car on the inside. So you get the same amount of luggage space, and also the same amount of space here in the back, and also that darn hump, which is a bit of a shame if you go for the electric version. However, I guess it's not the end of the world, but it is a bit annoying. But that's what you get if you get the same car that is available with multiple drivetrains. Now I would say the fit and finish here in the back is pretty good. It is on par with like Mini and Audi, so you get some leather here in the back as well. You get this nice fabric here on the seats, some Alcantara on the headrest. So all in all, pretty good. Alright, let's have a look at the front. Welcome in the interior of the DS3. They haven't changed a lot here, but what they did change is actually quite good. For example, you now get a completely new infotainment system with a completely new screen that it runs on. You now got this 10-inch screen, which is pretty sharp, and it runs the all-new DS Iris infotainment system on there, which is a pretty neat infotainment system. It is pretty fast, and all in all, I really like this system and this setup. What is also new is this steering wheel. It is completely new. On the previous model, you got a steering wheel with a lot of buttons on the back side of the steering wheel. For example, your audio buttons, and also the controls for the ADAS systems, so adaptive cruise control. And now all those functions are on the front side of the steering wheel. How clever. So that it's actually a lot more convenient. What is also new are the buttons here. The setup and the design is still pretty much the same, but they changed a little bit. You get these haptic buttons here, so you can't really press them in, but you can just put your finger on it and then it will work. So let's talk about the drive modes, and let's talk about the powertrains. Now you can still get this car with multiple powertrains, both diesel and petrol engines, for example with 100 or 130 horsepower. Now at the moment I'm driving the 130 horsepower version, which I would say is plenty for a car this size, and I even drove the 100 horsepower version as well earlier, and that was plenty as well, to be honest. However, in some countries you only can get an automatic if you go for the 130 horsepower. Maybe even in all countries, I'm not sure on that. But just so you know, you don't need that much power in a car like this. However, the powertrain that is more interesting is the fully electric version of this car, which is the E-Tense version. Because that car has a completely new powertrain with a more powerful motor and a bigger battery. Because in the previous model you got an electric motor that provided 136 horsepower, but in the renewed model you get 20 extra horsepower, so 156 horsepower. Also plenty for a car like this. That car feels a lot faster than this car, to be honest, just like with any other electric car, obviously, because of the instant torque. So yeah, that car felt pretty zippy. Again, this car is definitely no slouch, but the electric version is obviously a little bit more zippy. But that's not the only thing that is new on that electric car. It also got a bigger battery. So instead of 50 kilowatt hours, it now has a 54 kilowatt hour battery that will improve the range from 341 kilometers to 404 kilometers. So substantially bigger range on the renewed E10's version. The car will still charge up to 100 kilowatts at a fast charger, but the charging curve is a little bit better, so it will charge in 25 minutes from 0 to 80% instead of 30 minutes. Although the car does have a bigger battery, so the charging curve is also substantially better on the new DS3 E10s. So let's quickly mention the ride of this car. Now, if you're a little bit familiar with the cars from DS, you know they are comfortable and they are not sports cars at all. They're just really comfortable cars that you should probably drive not too fast. And I actually really like that, because there's plenty of cars you can choose from if you want to have a sporty ride. Basically, all European cars nowadays are developed on the Nürburgring. It looks sometimes, but not the cars from DS. They are very much comfortable. Not just the ride, which is very comfortable, but also the seats. You get this really thick foam. It's like almost 2 centimeters of foam that you get in the seats, also in the back seats, by the way, and they're just so comfortable, which makes this car very pleasant to drive as long as you take it easy. So that's it for this first quick look at the renewed DS3. If you like this video, why not consider subscribing, and also don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.